Hey, so you're gonna start this thing with your? You're
Yeah,
gonna talk about
it's
the
going now.
Okay,
We're going.
sweet,
We're already started.
awesome.
Okay, so there's definitely a room of 8 of us in here, and yeah, it is definitely hot. So, what do you guys think? Be honest.
It's a lot to take in. Um, I have very mixed feelings on it.
Yeah, it was just wow. I expected a lot more, especially from the trailer.
Yeah, we ended up watching the trailer before we watched the movie, and all I can say is that trailer is a good movie. That trailer looks really good. I
Definitely.
want to see.
Gave Insidious vibes.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
want to. I really want to see that trailer as
the
a
movie
movie.
is nothing like that. I don't know if it's like referencing 80s movies.
No, I don't.
I
could
don't know.
I could kind of sense it bringing back something like that. Yeah, totally.
So like James Wan definitely directed it, and he wrote it. James Wan's famous for Insidious, The Conjuring, all the Conjuring movies. I don't like him as a director. I do like him as a director, mainly because he makes a good movie like that. One time I enjoyed The Conjuring. It's one of my like movies that I'll watch just to kind of get me in the mood, or that is my background movie, The Conjuring. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. I really enjoy it, and he does really good in that movie. And Insidious is also really good, but he can really shit the bed when it comes to making movies. And another example of that is he directed Aquaman. I did not like Aquaman one bit.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
And Fast and Furious 7. So
I liked Aquaman.
I did too.
I actually genuinely enjoyed Aquaman. But
I will refuse to watch anything DC like that.
yeah, I know you're a Zack Snyder cut purist. So
The actor in Aquaman is hot, so
yeah,
that's
Jason Momoa. Yeah.
Agreed.
So it was directed by James Wan, story by James Wan, Ingrid Biso, which is James Wan's current wife. I say current, not like they're gonna get divorced, but no, they're married.
hey, they
And then Akila Cooper, I don't know how to say it. It was produced by James Wan. His production company's Atomic Monster. That was in the long, very, very, very long intro. They said Atomic Monster like 3 times. So this movie came out in September 10th, 2021, and we were watching it on the 19th, so 9 days. Credence and I actually went and saw this movie as it came out on
in
opening day.
theaters, so we paid money.
We paid, I think I paid like $51 total for 3
Yeah.
people and snacks.
Yep.
Not worth it, man.
No, it was quite the experience, especially inside the theaters. It was only like 3 of us total in the whole theater on opening night. So
Okay, so if I could put my thoughts, my first thought was, why would they have such a long intro?
that is totally James Wan. If you've seen Insidious, it is like 4 minutes of just haunted imagery. That's just all he does. I don't understand
I
it
just
at
have a
all.
brief memory of Bobby telling us that it wasn't like you shouldn't have that long of an intro at the beginning of a short or even a film because it kind of like loses that feeling, I guess. And it lost me immediately, and I was like, oh no.
I think you have to have the taste for that because there was an opening scene that we could kind of think about.
Do we
and-
want to just go
Yeah.
ahead and get into the plot? Go.
Sure. I mean, I kind of want to start off with, I think the husband's very interesting, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
5
think-
minutes
I
he's in it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we're
it's-
getting
no,
too far
it's-
ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the
Okay.
very beginning.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So the very beginning of it starts in 1993 in a hospital with Dr. Florence Weaver and her colleagues, Victor Fields and John Gregory. It opens up with the 3 of them talking. It starts out with Dr. Weaver in a recording, and it's dated at the bottom 1993, and she gets interrupted and talks about how he's gone violent. They tell us that he got as far as the record room and now knows where he's from. And then it's just jumps cuts to a bunch of people fighting and angry. And it's definitely crazy. It kind of tells us and shows us first off like his powers, because what do we want to say he is? Is he a monster? Is he
Brain frequencies, like he can control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
What
no sense.
what do you
He has
th-
superpowers.
what do we
there's
call
no
him?
boundaries because they want it to be supernatural, but they want it to be very grounded and
The movie does not know its identity.
It doesn't know what
It
movie
It doesn't
is.
know what
No.
it is at all.
Yeah. So even like James Wan talks about in the making of it in some of the behind the scenes and promotional videos, like he talks about like it's time for new age of horror, and he's like, I wanted to step outside of my box but still stay in my roots of a haunted house. And it's like, this is definitely a new vision. It's even titled The New Vision of Horror by James Wan. And if that's the vision, I don't know where we're going, boys.
I'd
See,
rather
he
be
says
blind.
that, but then it gives completely 80s vibes. Like,
Well,
it
yeah,
ma-
he hits on some 80s vibes, and the story wise, it's very like we didn't like it. I'm kind of getting that vibe, but
What? I loved it.
come on, hey, there were some things in that movie that were very new that I've never seen, and I thought I don't think everything was terrible. Like there were some things in that movie that we'll get to talking about that I actually really liked, and I was very impressed by.
One thing that I liked was when they were in the house, well, she was running away from the monster or whatever that broke in, which makes no sense, but okay. They did like an overhead where they
Oh, yeah.
went over
Bird's eye view.
the rooms.
Over the top.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, very impressive, but it takes away because we have like these really tight shots, and I was kind of scared. I was really into it, and then they would go for this really impressive over the like God's eye view type of thing, where they're showing the whole house, her running up the stairs. Really cool, very impressive. Would love to see how they did that in the behind the scenes.
So,
But
That's
it
all I
takes
could
away.
think about.
It takes away. I was kind of pulled away from the story. Wasn't really scared of the monster anymore.
yeah. So what I can tell from the making of it, that is definitely a set. That is not in the house. They definitely built that on a soundstage somewhere. They had the budget for it. So I'm gonna guess that was all the interior shots were inside on a set. Because yeah, I really enjoyed that shot. My thing with James Wan movies is he kind of makes me nauseous as a director, but also I enjoy his angles. He has these very artistic angles, and he shows you, but he's the type of guy that's going to show you every single step that someone takes to walk down a stair. And it gets so annoying, and it makes me feel claustrophobic, and I don't know what's happening.
I just wrote down my first comment. Camera tricks, cool, but for what? I felt like the movie couldn't establish the type of. They couldn't establish a type of cinematography the whole time. It was all over the place.
So with that, what type of movie is it? Is it a haunted house movie? Is it a
Dark
psychological?
Paranormal.
Definitely
Is it?
psychological.
It's definitely body horror. There's a
Yeah.
lot of body horror in this, of like broken bones and things like that. But we'll get to that.
I feel like it could have been a really great movie if certain shots would have been put in different places. Like certain plot points would have, been at the beginning or the end. Like if they'd been switched around. But like you said, they kind of just jumped around and it confused us. And we're like, okay, what?
Yeah. So what I can tell from the research that I did behind this movie is they filmed this all in 2019. So the first time I ever watched it, Credence and I were talking in the car on the way home of, I can blame that movie on COVID. That's the biggest thing that I could ever blame that on is I could imagine them making the movie before COVID hit. They're making it, they're working on it, and then then COVID sets in, and
And then they
get,
lose money. And
they
then
get
it just-
delayed. People have to close down, so they're trying to rush this thing up. I was completely wrong and baffled when I found out that this thing was made and finished in 2019. It just took them a long time to get it out in theaters.
Which it was probably a good idea because, I don't know, good trailer. People love his movies. This was probably a big hit.
It made money, but it's kind of like it's the horror movie factory that they always make of the Conjurings and the Annabelles. They're gonna make sequels to things because people are gonna go and see it.
Oh, I
No
don't
matter
want, I
what.
don't want a sequel. Come on.
I want to see.
Yeah.
I want one. Give me all of these. If it tanks his career, I'm sorry, James, but it's too bad. It's good. I really love it.
If you just Google the movie, it has a 2.8 rating.
Yeah,
It's
it's not. I can get into. Okay, so
I'll give it a 4 or 5
What?
why?
500 or what?
out of
That-
10.
Why?
Oh.
4 or 5?
Okay, I thought you said.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought you
4
said
out of
4
5.
out of 5. I was like, that is
I'll
way
say
too
a
high.
4
Wait.
or a 5.
Okay, okay.
Probably
It's a little high.
Probably
Yeah.
4.
Okay, so Nicole, what would you give it?
Probably lower, just like are we doing it at 1 and 10?
Let's do 1 out of 10.
Okay, it's probably a 4.
Okay, what about you, Creed?
I have no clue.
Okay, well,
I mean, there was like certain parts of the movie that were like really cool. Like we
I
don't
feel
want
like
to talk
if it
about
was
it now, but
marketed different, it would have been a cool movie.
yeah.
Like his
Yeah.
trailer didn't match
Like marketed just as a terrible movie.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
but
That's basically where we're at. Yeah, no.
dark humor.
Yeah,
because
it's definitely a
You know what I mean?
satire.
like, gosh, what's that? The vampire show that you
Oh,
watched?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, it could have been marketed like that, and
Yeah,
it would have been
this
Oh,
is
cool.
come on.
definitely-
It was going for something
Yeah,
way
this-
more serious.
So
Yeah.
my whole thing.
Yeah,
with-
but it is so. It just that's why it's bad.
So it was kind of funny how
Yeah.
bad it was
Yeah.
sometimes.
So a lot of James Wan films have satire with it. We can all agree that the acting was terrible. The line delivery
Oh my
sucked.
Gosh.
But it's crazy to think that the main character, Annabelle Wallis, played Grace in Peaky Blinders. If anyone's seen it, she's awesome in that show. She does amazing. She sings in it. She acts great. And then she comes into this, and at first I didn't even recognize her because I was like, "Who is this shitty actor?"
I feel bad for the girl. I mean, the first thing she's told to do is probably just cry and scream.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
she does the whole movie.
yeah.
I
So
wonder
if-
how much she got paid to do this too.
I think I can find that. But so with James Wan movies, a lot of the time they have a satire to them. If you've seen Insidious, Insidious is a great movie. I know that we're keep now talking about other movies instead of this movie, but with Insidious, it has a good story, I think, really good visuals, and it's a better story than this one. However, when it comes to like the line delivery, it's a little sucks. It's pretty bad.
Which one, Insidious or this one?
Both.
Both.
And Insidious has a good cast. I mean, I love.
Does he write his movies?
Yeah. James Wan.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we can get to that later about the whole
Mhm.
Conjuring Insidious thing because he wrote the first one, co-wrote. I'm gonna just say wrote that and the Conjuring movies, and we can use that one too. Of the way he does his movies is he has these good actors, but then he like asks them to act like they've never acted before.
Mm-hmm.
It just he puts these casts together which are good and iconic characters. Like when it comes to Ed and Lorraine Warden, everyone knows kind of them now due to The Conjuring. That's kind of iconic now to people who didn't know who they were before. Those are great, but the acting in it kind of sucks ass. At least I think so. But he creates these iconic characters and then does nothing with them, or they get better in your head the more you're away from the film. I don't really know what I think about that.
I don't know. We were about halfway in, and I was just like, do I care about anybody in this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, in the first scene, it's so much to take in.
Do you want to do
Yeah.
the first scene? Because we better do a whole plot summary, play by play. We'd be all over the place if not. Yeah, so like we said a little bit before, it takes place in 1993. We see nothing. We just get to know some characters and understand the whole plot and the feeling and the vibe of the movie. And the last line given in that introduction is, "Gotta cut out the cancer." The cringiest line. It was said really bad. It comes back like 3 times, 4 times, and it does not stick with you in a good way. It is just like, holy shit.
What was everyone's first thoughts on what it was?
Like what the monster was?
Yeah, because I guess we
Well-
thought it was human, but
No,
Then
like
it-
at the very beginning,
Okay,
After-
we can go into the beginning. I can go a little bit farther.
after the insane asylum or the hospital or whatever, they make it seem like it's a ghost.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
Like cushion
totally
rises.
that's definitely what he wanted to do, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's what?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so we jump after the intro and the 27 minutes it feels like of all the logos going by and that cringy ass music. Which one thing I have the person who did the music. It is Joseph Bashara. I don't know how to pronounce it. If I pronounce it wrong, I apologize. But man, it does not fit this movie.
What was that melody that kept playing through?
it sounded like something from The Walking Dead. I felt like I was about to watch.
There is
There is a
TikTok
song. There's a TikTok song that I've
Okay.
seen on TikTok that it sounds just like it
I
in my
think it's
head.
really smart to do that because everybody has heard that. Like I didn't even know the name of the song, but I was like, I know what that is.
I think that's opposite. I think they
You
wrote
don't
that
watch
song.
your TikTok songs in a horror movie.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I
No,
like it. I'm
I think-
talking about like the horror audience.
Doing the renegade.
I feel like they could totally be like, oh, I know that.
Yeah. I disagree with you, Gabe, because they wrote this song for this movie with no other anything. It is
No
not
way.
pulled from something. It was written for this
No.
song, for this movie. Okay, so we jump 27 years later, and we're introduced to our main character, Madison. Apparently, she's a nurse. Is that? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Scrubs.
Yeah, we first see her come home from her shot from a beautiful Seattle home of a shot of the house and her pulling up. And man, do they give us a lot of establishing shots. Every single scene.
Mm-hmm.
Every single scene gets its own place, but we'll just keep going. So she comes home from work, and her husband, Derek, is upstairs watching TV.
Mhm.
They get in a little fight about miscarriages, because that's one thing that they throw in the beginning of it and the very end, and never talk about it again. We get introduced to Derek and Madison, husband and wife, and we get to witness a little bit of their marriage. Derek throws Madison against a wall and bloodies her head against it, and he leaves, and she goes and locks the door. This is only like 5 minutes into the whole movie, and then we cut to night. It is instantly night, and we find Derek, who is laying on the couch, sleeping, and he gets waken up to the sound of, was it like the blender? Is that what?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
the
Yeah.
blender.
Can we
Moving
can we
around.
just talk about the fight real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
You said first 5 minutes. You haven't given us any time to dive into these characters, know their backstory. It's all forced.
It feels like I missed something writing something down, or I'm forgetting to tell something, because it legit is the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, because
Well,
you don't
it's-
even know who this chick is. She's just pregnant, and then there's some guy in a bed watching wrestling.
Wrestling from like
Yeah,
1995,
and
this
you're
is
like,
it's
2020 or whatever.
it's very rushed and forced. What makes cheesiness is where you write the dialogue to make the plot move on, to make, like, there's a way to explain the plot without saying, like, it was pretty ridiculous the way they talked about the miscarriages and stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
It didn't seem natural at all.
No.
I want to know what his writing style was, because I know a lot of people write a horror movie. Like, a good example is Happy Death Day. When they wrote the sequel, they wrote a lot of it around the deaths, of what they can do and how they can write around that. They had all the cool ideas. So I wanted to know how he decided to write this, if he wanted cool deaths in a cool way by a cringy character and just wrote plot around that. Because I cannot tell if this is a haunted movie with a subplot of like miscarriages, or a miscarriage movie with a subplot of haunted house.
Okay.
It's bad. So
he knocks her into the wall,
mhm.
immediately is apologetic or remorseful.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
what
and
do
he
you guys think
tells
about
her
that?
he tells her, "Oh, I'm sorry. I've stopped drinking.
yeah.
I'm still going to the meetings."
That's a form of manipulation.
Yeah,
though,
Yeah.
'cause
easy.
a lot.
Yeah.
I
You
feel like
instantly
a
hate
lot of
that
people.
character.
I feel like a lot of people could be like, "Oh, that's so stupid how you just automatically feel sorry." But I thought that was pretty realistic. I mean, somebody who is
Oh, yeah.
very abusive and stuff
Yeah.
acts like he realizes that he's wrong, but he really is just very selfish and
I
prideful.
think it's the thing too, also, that they went ahead and told him, they had him say like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to my meetings.
Right.
I've stopped drinking." I think
tries to
that
guilt trip her.
Yeah, I think that just totally does a good job of making us root for his death, because man, oh
No,
man,
totally,
Oh, yeah. I
man,
was
oh man,
glad they
does it-
killed him off like instantly.
Yeah,
almost.
he is first death.
But at the same time, I didn't really care about her yet.
nah,
Because we
I
didn't know
care.
anything.
Sweet. I wrote this in, sweet shot of it creeping on the couch and then coming over him. Do you remember? You guys remember that shot?
Yeah, yeah,
That was one of the coolest of the movie.
yeah. So we get a shot of the couch, and then we hear a noise from the kitchen. It is, I guess it's going to be the blender.
Mhm.
So then he gets up and investigates. He turns off the blender. It's supposed to be a jump scare. I didn't really find it very scary.
No, not at
It's
all.
also supposed to be a dream. She closes her eyes and then we're downstairs.
Yes.
So I was aware
Oh.
that it was going to be a dream because it kind of throws us off. It acts like it's a dream, and she thinks it's a dream. She wakes up and she's like, "Crap, this really freaking happened."
Yeah.
See, I didn't think of it as a dream. I just felt like she was just sleeping, but she was
Yeah, I don't
acting
No, she thought it was
weird.
a dream.
Yeah,
I
they
don't think
showed
you
us.
would get that till after
Yeah.
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, because I don't think they even showed us her dreaming yet, which is why it made me feel like the beginning of the movie was a completely different movie than it was later. Because
Yes.
we're about to even talk about Derek gets up, goes to the kitchen, and some creepy things happen. Fridge door opens up. A sound draws him into the living room where he was sleeping, and the TV's on. And then it quickly cuts over, and you see the shape, the figure, the ghost or
Very
whatever.
creepy in my
Very
opinion.
creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Is just sitting there on the couch. So then
Turn the
it-
lights on.
it turns the lights off, and back on, and it's gone.
What confused me is when the couch cushion lifted back up
That was
on
Yes.
its own, making you think it might be paranormal.
A
that
ghost.
he's
Supposed to be
invisible.
It's supposed to be her, so
It's a ghost.
So how did that butt print just go poof
Yeah.
But
out of
this
nowhere?
this is where you ask the question: is this psychological or not? Because are we seeing this in her view, or are we seeing this in his view? Because she wants to think that this is something else, a completely different person.
Oh
But she's
man, I didn't even
ever
think about
since
that.
she was
Yeah.
a kid, she's been forcing herself to think it's not her. What if what we're seeing is what? Because I took this as a dream. What if what we're seeing is her trying to make this thing a different situation than what it really is? Her lying to herself.
Yeah, it's
Well, she never mentions though that she sees that death.
yeah.
You guys
You-
will have to go back and
you-
watch. She closes her eyes, and then we're downstairs, and then after he dies, she wakes up.
Yeah, which we wake up, or she wakes up, and it's daytime, is it not?
Yeah, daytime.
Yes.
No,
Which was
no.
because she
that's
runs
later.
down the stairs.
Yes.
He gets
Oh,
she
yeah.
she hears
Hits
a
her head.
noise, and it's still night, and she runs downstairs and finds his dead body with a broken fucking neck. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
this
Oh,
thing
that-
is
oh,
broken,
man.
broken,
Facing her.
nasty.
The lighting is really cool to have something. I wonder how was that an actual person, the shadow,
No,
or was it CGI?
So I'm just gonna go ahead and guess that it was CGI, because there is someone credited in the cast as, what was his name?
Gabriel?
Gabriel. There is a woman cast as Gabriel in the cast and crew, but I think that was more for like the acrobatic shots, because
Oh yeah.
there
I
wasn't a
cannot
lot.
wait to get to that. Cause
Yeah. So she comes downstairs and sees his dead body and gets really freaked out. And while she's running back, things is this like things
There's
start-
also a type of motif because every time you see blood on the pillow, it always signifies that something's happened.
yeah. So
But we
it's-
don't know that at first.
Yeah, which we don't see that yet. She's still running upstairs, and this is the shot where it's in the trailer where she's running through the house. She's up against the door trying to hold the door, and she pushes, and it throws her to the floor and knocks her the fuck out. I mean, you hear a donk, like she's gone. Then it jump cuts to the fucking army in their house. I mean, they're bringing helicopters in. There's police up and down the block. There's a SWAT van. What is up with the Seattle Police Department with bringing in absolutely everybody? Was I the only one that noticed that?
No, but that's surprising because literally I wrote in my notes, why is there only 2 detectives on this investigation
There's
the
a
whole
lot of-
time? And how are they even cops? They suck.
They suck ass.
They can't even shoot right.
Like, I feel bad for anybody in Seattle in this movie, because, I mean, this is like Gotham level
Oh my god.
police work.
Oh,
It is
man.
so bad. It is bad.
It's funny.
So Madison wakes up from being knocked out, and this is when we get introduced to her sister, Sydney, who is this when she's dressed up as the princess, or is that later?
That's later when she's
Gosh, how many times is she even in the hospital?
twice.
Twice. Yeah.
She wakes up, realizes that she lost
Oh,
a baby from being
yes.
knocked
I
out.
really
Yeah.
like
Her
that. I
husband's
really
dead,
like that.
but-
That was terrifying.
I did
When-
not like that one
No.
bit.
Hear me out. When the camera, they're talking about what had happened, and it's really cheesy, like it always is. And then the camera shifts down, and she feels her stomach,
It's-
and it's
yeah,
not there.
it's-
You're so used to that bump being there, but it's not there. That's terrifying. I'm not even a woman, but that would be freaky as heck.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's. Me being a dude as well, I do not know what that.
And then she
Yeah.
just
would be
starts to
like.
scream, and
Yeah.
we just sit there
And
watching her
that's-
scream.
and her scream. I liked they pulled her scream to where it kind of went echoed,
Mhm.
and then that was the end of it. Because then, after they tell her that she's lost her baby, it jumps later in time, and this is when the cop
The
Cacao.
detective comes in, and then the sister ends up showing up in a dress.
Yeah,
and
and because she works at
trying to put some comedic relief,
Yeah,
I feel
what-
like, into this. But this chick her baby just died. Her
Yeah, and
husband's
there's the whole
dead. Her
entire-
abusive husband,
And-
she's.
this whole entire subplot of Detective King Cow and Sydney being in love. It's so cringy. How
Yeah,
they
why
like-
add that in?
Yeah, it's just so much in such little time, which is ironic because this is almost a 2-hour movie. This could have been much less and cut a lot of it out because this is way too much.
Seriously.
In even 2 hours, which that's pretty long.
Do you think when she Do you think she was listening to them when they were talking and she wouldn't say anything? She wouldn't respond to them. Do you think she was listening?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't know. I think people, when they're in a catatonic state like that, nothing. They don't even. I think part of them just completely just goes away. And
How did you guys like the reality shifts? Like when it shifts to a different
oh,
room?
like the morphing effect.
Yeah.
I really
I
liked
liked
it.
that.
I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of the money went.
Oh,
Definitely.
Definitely, that's where all the money went. Location wise, it wasn't very good.
But
there was a
listen,
lot of
if
cool
she
location shots.
experienced this before when she was a kid, which we find out later, why is she so all of a sudden like
I'm
so in like she doesn't know what's going on?
I'm confused because I thought it was before she got adopted that she was having all these problems and she forgot, but she obviously didn't because when she was living with that family, she was still dealing with these problems.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
how did he go dormant?
So I think what that is just later. That's got to be like therapy or something. That's easily explained away with therapy. And yeah,
She just blocks it out.
yeah, just block it out, just disappear. But we jump from the hospital shot to the Seattle Underground tour, which I did not know existed.
Like, I honestly thought it was her. I went, how did she
It
get
looks a
there
lot
so
like
her.
fast?
I have a funny story about this.
What?
When me and my brother and Credence went to this movie, we had to explain to Addison in the middle of the movie that the little girl, like Madeline, as a girl, Madison,
Yeah.
is played by McKenna Grace. I know her from Crash and Bernstein. She's in a lot of good horror movies. She's a phenomenal actress. I think she's like 15 now. We had to explain to him that her as a little girl and the girl who plays the mom are two separate people and not the same, and had to explain to him teen marriage or a teen, like he was so confused.
Well, it is
marriage.
confusing.
They look a lot alike. That's just the thing that sucks. They look so much
'Cause-
alike.
Yeah, because I could tell personality-wise, I was like, how was she able to jump back so quickly from, both those deaths and then just be able to do a tour and be happy? And
Yeah, those are two separate people. You just gotta
and
think about that. Those
that
are
would have
two
not been
separate
nice
people.
to be like,
Yeah.
But
told at the
speaking of the
beginning.
tour of the underground, that little piece of history was cool.
Yeah, we
What
didn't.
about it?
I
so
didn't.
what did that have to do
No,
with
I
the
didn't
film?
even know. I didn't even know that Seattle. That's based on a true thing. Seattle back in the day, I don't know when it was, caught on fire, and they just built new Seattle right on top instead of tearing
I
everything
thought it
down.
flooded and they just built.
I think it was a fire,
Oh,
or I don't know how you do that at all.
I just-
How do you even do that? There's old like Seattle Underground is an old, and I think a lot of it's going to be set built around of they're going to make it look like they exaggerate what it really is, because we see like later in the movie we see like a shop front in a street. I don't think that's what it is, but apparently there is an underground tour that shows all of the old Seattle that was destroyed and the new Seattle was built on top of it. That is really cool. So shout out to Seattle having two horror movies based in that. This and Ring. Too bad they both suck.
Better acting though in The Ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's her name?
I couldn't tell you. It's The Ring.
King Kong. She plays King Kong.
Oh, from the Peter Jackson one? Or
Naomi Watts.
is that who it
She
is?
plays Ring. Yeah, she's
Wow.
good.
Wow.
Maybe I just like her.
Maybe you do. You got a crush on her?
Off topic.
It's from there in the underground that we meet the woman. Oh, I did not catch her name. They call her Jane Doe later, but
Jane Doe.
Her name was Serena May.
Serena May,
Yeah.
something May. Is
and
right with
she
May.
was the mom.
Yeah,
right?
we find out
She's
that
the mom.
she is the mother.
But I didn't find that out until like almost the end of the
yeah,
film.
Yeah, the end of this movie. So they always say like the 4 parts of a film is the beginning, or like 3. You do like a beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
This one definitely has 4, which is the beginning, middle, 5 minutes before the end, and the end, because they really give you a lot.
Oh, there's like a huge resolution.
Yeah.
Girl
Mhm.
power at the end.
Yeah, power to 'em.
Sister power.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So
Sisters
Serena
forever.
May, as an adult, gets kidnapped from this figure, this person. I just keep forgetting the name, but we'll just go with it. Gets kidnapped, and then it jump cuts to her being tied up to a wall in an attic.
Attic. Yep. It was an attic.
The thing I was really confused about, because the beginning of the movie really tried to hit on the supernatural, and like you said, we thought it was a ghost. And when all this was happening, and he was interacting with objects and stuff, it was really trying to push the fact that this is more physical than we thought. And I was really, really confused.
Yeah, so it goes from this. It goes from the attic to Madison folding clothes, like the whole doing her laundry. And
she's bleeding again. We get it. She's bleeding from her head.
Yeah. So that's
we still don't know
we get the cool shot of it goes from the attic to Gabriel, the monster, says a cringy line, jumping up on the wall, talking to
Isn't he on
Serena
the phone?
May of like, we're gonna cut out the cancer or whatever, and calls the doctor from the very beginning when she's older, Dr. Florence Weaver, and calls her on the phone. And it cuts to her in her house, picking up the phone, and she's like, "Who is this? I don't understand." Then he says, "It's time to cut out the cancer," and it hits her like a freight train. Like,
but at first it didn't,
I've been
though.
thinking
I
about
was
this
kind of
episode.
surprised that she didn't. You'd think, with something that impactful, like that happened in her life, in her studies, she would have known instantly. But she didn't
it definitely
really.
by like the voice, because they established in the thing that in the very beginning, back in 1993, that he can use telephone and radio to talk.
Yeah.
Because they're like
Frequencies.
Yeah, he uses frequencies to talk and control the electricity. But I want to know how and why. Doesn't make any sense. But we jump from the phone call to then Madison doing laundry in her house. And we get a really cool jump scare, which I thought, which ended up getting me the first time I saw it, was when she's at the washing machine. And then she pulls out, and then you see this woman from the door of the washing machine and screams like, "What are you doing in my house?" And then we get that she like runs back, and then we get the first shot and the first imagery of the walls melting to the floor,
that was cool.
and coming and transporting us somewhere else, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that
and
was
that's
a good
where a
effect.
lot of the budget must have been, because it did not go to acting.
No.
But it looked beautiful.
And I would love to talk to somebody who's actually went through like demonic crap, because like definitely the sleep paralysis thing where she's frozen and it's creeping over her shoulder.
This is very, because it jumps to a lot later of her like in bed, and it happens at night. But we'll get to that. So it jumps, and we're in the woman's house of Dr. Florence Weaver, and we're in her house, and they're talking, and we get to see the first time like the cloak that the thing wears, which was definitely kind of cool. And it's the first time we get to see that something's not right with this monster thing, because it's walking backwards. The stabbing effect is weird, which we later find out that it is her being like controlled. So it's like something on the back of her head, which I just want to know.
Gives me like
what the
Voldemort vibes.
Yeah.
From Harry Potter.
And it's definitely the Sorcerer's Stone. Yes, it's yeah, unwraps the towel, and it's the face in the back.
It's just hair.
Yeah, yeah. But all I can think of to myself is, what is up with this girl's shoulders? They have got to be broken, because we're seeing full rotation, like someone was facing forward, like what a forward arm can do, but all the way back, and it is.
Well, when you're under
she's just got to be
possession
really,
or something,
really,
and you have like
double-jointed.
really like a lot of adrenaline, you can do things like lift things.
Yeah, well, that's
And
like
you can
the
do
Chinese mother lifting the car off of her baby all by herself,
Oh,
that
yeah.
everyone's heard of. That
Oh yeah.
if it happened, who knows? But
Or even some versions of zombies, like they can do things that some humans can't.
yeah, I don't know where you're getting zombies, but we'll go with it.
I was like, whoa.
But we get to see Dr. Florence get killed in, I think, was one of the coolest ways of very bloody, and it's with a
her medal,
her
or
award,
that
yeah.
she got for
with this,
her.
which is like a base, which I think is the it's a Greek staff of, because it's a base and like a spear, but then it has like a snake or a vine or something that goes around it, which I think that's just like the whole thing that represents health. I don't know what that's called, but
Yeah, it's like hospitals. Like
yeah, they do
have-
the
Yeah, and then there's the swirl
whatever
around
that
it.
is. I've seen it before, and I know that's from like
Mhm.
Greek mythology, but he like bludgeons the fuck out of her head, and we don't get to see like the head, but we just get
Yeah.
to see like the blood.
The
squirt.
first big kill. We don't see.
Yeah.
We
So-
just see the blood.
Yeah, and then it matches with Madison screaming in the dream and then her screaming when she wakes up. And she's screaming in bed, and then the camera moves over to the door, and a little bit longer, her sister runs in. And
Wait, is this where it goes from night to day, though?
Yeah.
Like that transition?
yeah, it's for the first time that we're realizing that it's happening. Like, and this you'll be able to watch it now if we watch it again. Every time she goes into a state, it usually happens at night, and then she wakes up the next morning,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that she's been gone. So, but this is when we get the second introduction of both the investigators,
Mm-hmm.
because they show up to her house later, because like her maid or somebody, like,
Yeah, finds her.
and we find that in her house she has all these like books and stuff from all of her cases, and they end up having to read it. And I think it goes from that, and it cuts to the police station where they're like bringing in all the stuff, and we get to see the really incompetent Seattle Police Department, and they have to. Poor dude has to go through all those books, but luckily it's a movie, so
He's spending half of his time flirting.
yeah, he's in with the crime scene analyst, I guess, or the
It felt like she was flirting with him.
Yeah,
Though,
oh, yeah,
mostly.
yeah.
Her
And you just
friend
get
is
that
going through-
awkward, like,
Her friend is going through all this crap, and she's like,
no. We're talking about the woman at the crime scene who is in the police department.
the one that you said made the movie.
No. So it's
oh, totally.
who was played by James Wan's wife.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is like, what is she, like a?
She's barely in it too. Like,
Yeah,
I
think
thought
she's
it was so weird
I think
having
that's
her
just
in
like
it.
Wait, she's James Wan's wife.
wife in real life.
Oh yeah, she was
Huh.
flirting with him too, was it? And he wasn't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
having it?
because at the
He
end we get
wasn't
to see the
having it,
cringy
man.
thing where they're like, spoiler alert, they're fighting in the police department, and we get to see the other detective, and she's like, "Oh no, detective! Oh no, King Cow!" And then just runs right over her, and it's just like to the other person. It's so, I know it's supposed to be funny, but why are you trying to find
Like,
comedy in a
yes.
horror movie? It just sucks.
Even
so
just-
bad.
Yeah.
Is it actually supposed to be funny though?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. It's definitely got to, and it's just, it does not land, because we get little quips of the detective and the sister just kind of flirting with each other. It cuts back
Especially
and
with
forth
the
to that.
female detective, because she even calls
Calls them out on it all the time.
in the house.
Which
She's like,
give
seriously?
give that woman a raise completely. It is just so bad, because yeah, it is. She just calls him out on all of his shit.
One
Wait.
thing I like to add is you get both those stories of To the Women. We never find out what happens with those two and the guy.
Oh yeah, we
What-
get.
What?
They're just
Yeah,
characters.
who does he
Wait,
choose, man?
Who was
We
giving
want to
him crap?
know.
So much for
The-
that B story.
King Cow, King Koa, is it King Koa or King Cow? I'm thinking King Cow from Pair of Kings. I think it's
Oh
King
my
Cow
gosh.
or the detective, and his detective, the woman, like his partner, calls him out on all the shit.
Oh,
that
yeah.
They're like, stop flirting with this girl.
Oh, so I was just gonna say that the whole point, it was to be funny, I think, but the whole point of it was to build a relationship. In the third act, she calls him in the car
Mhm.
and she tells him to do something. He wouldn't have listened to her if that relationship wasn't built. So that's
Yeah.
why they did that.
And I think
Mm.
I think that might be part of the reason why he put that in there. And I'm thinking back on that right now, it makes more sense. And I guess it does move the story forward, but not enough. If you're having a 2-hour movie, it's like what our teacher Bobby always says: if you're gonna have something in it, you better do one of two things: move the movie forward or reveal something. And I don't really know.
Can I
what
say
to do.
something super random?
Yeah.
Okay. This girl is distressed. She is like, we think she's kind of possessed. Some of the movie, like, we don't really know what's going on, but she's going through hell.
Mm-hmm.
And she is so pretty the whole time. She has a face of makeup the whole time. There is not a scene where she doesn't have eyeliner.
Are we talking about the
main character. The main
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
She is
No matter
pretty
what.
the whole time.
Hey, even when she was on the back of the head, they
Her hair
made-
looks good the whole
yeah,
time.
Yeah, I wish what I talked about in the movie is this whole costume design, if you haven't seen it, is that there's a head on the back of hers, and her head is always still shown. What I think they should have done and got away with it so easy, two things. They could have made the body transform differently, and what I think what my brother really pulled out that I talked about that was really cool is in the Suicide Squad, the original, the witch, what was her name?
I just
whatever the witch was in the first one, she'd do Enchantress.
Enchantress, yeah.
Yeah, she'd get on the table and say Enchantress, and a hand would come up from hers and flip around,
That had
and
already
it'd be
been
the new
done.
person. That would have been so cool and such a cool like way of how things change, or like completely dislocated body parts, so it would be like it would look so bad when it runs.
I know we're getting into later, but when we finally do see that transformation, when we finally know they're the same person, and she's like pulling her arms back, and you hear all the bones breaking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have just committed to more of
did
that, of
enjoy
like
that.
even like the whole hand going like it was the opposite of breaking every bone to where it looks like a regular hand. Because I think that would
But
have
Enchantress, that's very supernatural. There's
yeah,
a, there's a
it's
hand that comes and grabs hers.
through and it goes over.
That's cool. That
I
was
love
really
that.
cool.
Yeah, but then also what they could have done to make it much better, like costume wise, is just have the person comb the hair up and over the face, because we don't need to see a mask on the backside of her head, especially later in the film, where they show both heads on the same body, and you can definitely tell that it's fake. And I think it looks very like it was CGI put on there, and it sucks.
We kind of skipped over it, but the doctor, he's friends with the other doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy who left the window open, or he turned back. That was my favorite
Dr.
scene.
Fields was his name.
That was my favorite scene
Yeah.
of the whole movie.
Which, okay, so we'll get to that. Things go on after they get Madison and her sister both get like questioned by the police. I think no, this is when Madison goes to the police and sits down with Kin Cow and the other detective and tells them that she thinks that she knows who the person is because she sees him. She sees him and was there. And later it cuts to a very funny part where it's like the witness report, and then it shows who she saw. And what does the woman say that was so funny? It was like, do you want me to put an APB out on Sloth from the Goonies? And that made all of us laugh in the room.
Yeah. See,
That one
they're trying
landed.
to add comedy into it, and it was like,
that was funny.
I think that one landed the best because
Yes.
she's a very serious character. It got really lame when we were seeing like the characters who are definitely written there to be funny. Is when a comedian's telling a joke, you're like, okay. But the person in the crowd who says something funny, that's even funnier. So
Can we talk about that kill?
So after the police station, the two sisters go and they go away. And then it cuts to like Kin Cow working on like going through all the things from the crime scene from the first kill, and she finds a flash drive of all the doctors and things, and it was like a flash drive of all the videos that were made, which I was like, I hope that she just did that in the future, which doesn't make sense because she definitely would have had to make those flash drives later and have to rewatch those films because they didn't come out to 2000, like 7 years before she recorded it all.
Yeah, like why was certain stuff on a VHS tape and then there was flash drives? Like why wasn't everything put onto a flash drive?
For a woman who didn't,
and why didn't he see that?
Yeah,
like
it definitely and we see the whole stack of books that was like it's like the whole motif and quip that they do in movies where it's like it's trying to look through something, but it's the very last place they looked, and that is so God, all that wasted time because you just see a stack of books and he throws one down because he's tired of his shit. And it's there, and he opens it up as a flash drive.
Whoa.
So then we get to see, that on the flash drive is a picture of all the doctors. And then this is where we get to see the third man who was killed in the bathtub.
I don't even remember seeing that guy.
Yeah,
ever.
I think they just added,
and his face looked so weird
creepy
on screen.
It looked creepy in that photo.
I was like, what?
Like he gave me vibes of the doctor from American Horror Story Asylum.
Yeah,
who
let
was
him die, man.
Like, Nazi
I was
guy.
like, oh no,
he gave me
die.
some creep vibes, and we then cut to him in the bathroom, or we cut to Madeline in the bathroom, and she goes down to brush her teeth and comes back up, and it's the dude, and then we get the whole shift where everything shifts, and it was once again really cool, but overplayed, overused.
Right.
It's cool the first time, annoying the second time. That's all I can say, because it happens all the time.
And it's long.
It's so long.
Mhm.
I wish that it could have easily been like a blink, or like her like coming to realization and then being there. Yeah, it's like 15 seconds.
Or just
of-
long the first time.
Yeah, just 15 seconds of the thing transforming and reappearing. Okay, so we jump from, where were we? What were we talking
Bathroom
Bathtub
scene.
scene.
Okay, so the bathtub
Chase.
scene. So we see the girl, who I keep wanting to say Grace because that's her character in Peaky Blinders. It is Maddie or Madeline or Madison. We see Madison brushing her teeth. It then jump cuts to her above and looking into the mirror, and it is the old man from the picture that
From the
I was like, wow.
hospital, the psych ward.
Yeah, that was found on the USB drive. So from there, it jumps to him in the bathtub. Does he get in the bath? Do we see that? We just see he's in
I
the
don't think you
bathroom.
see him get in the bathtub.
I
I
thi-
think it's just him reading a book.
Yeah, so we see him in the mirror, and then he goes back and he's in the bathtub. So the detective, Kinkow, goes ahead and he Googles like the doctor's name and finds his location. I don't know how you can do that, but he found where he lives. I guess that's Google, and that's kind of scary if you think about it. Finds him, and he starts running. He drives to his place, and he's trying to investigate like his house, and he comes in, and the dude's dead in the bathtub.
Why would you not call backup?
Yes, there's a lot of things.
Oh
that
my
this,
gosh.
This
From
guy
now
is
on,
not a cop.
yeah, from
No.
this is where we all realize that this dude is not a cop. He is definitely not cop material. But he enters the bathroom and the dude's dead in the bathtub. This is when we see Grace's perspective,
And she's still there.
and she screams.
So that cop guy, he goes in by himself with sirens. He enters an apartment, probably has to go through a front office desk to ask where this guy lives. And then he enters the apartment without a search warrant, without backup.
Yeah, this dude is
and-
on a mission. He is.
I already said he's not a cop.
He,
Yeah, this
broke
dude is.
every law to get there.
Yeah,
and
and he randomly
didn't do
shoots.
shit. He didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh, pow, pow, pow.
So
As the
we
aim of a
find out.
stormtrooper.
Yes, we find out that the dude is still there. The shape of person is still in the room,
The what?
and they like the demon guy is still in the room.
Which,
Isn't he on the wall?
Yeah,
Like, how is he on
He's
the
up
wall?
he's up in the corner of the room, and that's so freaking creepy.
Like, but he doesn't. He's not Spider-Man. He
No.
doesn't have like.
So
yeah,
this is Gabriel,
he's
right?
a woman.
Gabriel.
So
Yeah.
guys, I kind of
Oh.
want I kind of want to hear
he is though. He's
kind of
on
want to
a
hear your
woman's
opinion on
body.
this. What is his motive? Because at the end he's trying to kill this guy, but in this part he's literally just playing with him and taunting him.
yeah. Who is this person? What is his motive? I know they're trying to like kill all the people. I understand the first kill that Gabriel does of the doctor, because she killed him and was in charge. But the other people are just kind of like fully or just
Well,
like a
he
bot.
kills the doctor, the girl doctor.
Uh-huh.
Then he
Yeah.
kills the guy doctor
Uh-huh.
who was like helping her cut out the cancer. And then
I think this last guy is titled as like a hypnotherapist or something. So I think he wasn't like a surgeon. I think he was like a psychiatrist or something.
Well,
The
he
shock therapy?
hated the doctors for what they did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
He had a vengeance against the doctors for trying to kill him, cut out the cancer. That's what they always say.
Now, if we were to talk to the writers about, I'm telling you, they would. This is a big part of the movie. I know they think so because they made it a huge point. The trophy. He kills with it many times.
I think what it is, because I think the trophy was for, like we mentioned, I think it was for her like outstanding work in health. So
in her research.
I think it was fucking cool. It looked cool. We see a montage of it sharpening it and everything, which gave me a
Oh,
lot
that
of
was
Insidious
awesome.
vibes. If
Like
anyone's seen that
using
red
her-
face,
her accomplishments against her, I
Yeah.
guess, in a way.
kind of deep. But I'm sorry, James Wan, but I don't think he meant that. I think we're just.
You don't think he did?
No, I think we're diving too deep into it. I think he just saw a cool knife and wanted something cool. Yeah, stab. So, the dude and the detective get in a fight in the bathroom, and the detective sucks ass.
He's
So-
not scared though.
He's not scared.
He's more in
Which
shock,
he's-
I think.
Man, he is brave, if that's what you want
Yeah.
to call him. He is a brave man because he sucks ass.
He's
But,
a brave man 'cause he sucks. ass.
So they get in a fight and they run, and this is somehow they get outside the building, and we get to see like the thing move for the first time, really, of it's running backwards. And I think this.
But then it goes forward, so you're
Yeah.
not like, what is
Yeah,
this
I
thing?
can
Like,
tell-
how is it?
They definitely wanted everything to be backwards, but I bet there's stuff that the stunt coordinators couldn't do, so they just were like, "Fuck it, just go forward."
Can you imagine having to do that? And
Yeah,
going down?
it sucks so bad.
Like,
But we see they run out of the building and go down the fire escape, and we see the thing like parkour down, like it is Spider-Man parkour down.
court.
So we get that, and then it comes to the detective running down after him, and it begins the chase. But he says some cringy ass line. He's like,
Does he not get hurt
"Oh,
when he jumps? Because he even said, like we were trying to figure out like what he says there. He's just basically like, I must be out of my mind.
yeah, I think
that's
I gotta be crazy." And
I
he
gotta be
jumps.
crazy.
He just like full
And he
on
just go-
arm bar. He just like the people's
Okay.
elbow onto a freaking trash can
Okay.
and breaks every bone in his body. It just
As a
gets up and
kid,
starts running.
I did it off a baby
Very-
changing table and fractured my whole arm.
Yeah, I was
How
like-
did he not break something when he
it's-
hit that dumpster, man?
It's called a movie.
Yeah,
No,
true, true.
So
He's
then,
not a cop.
yeah.
He's
So then they're
not a
both.
cop.
It goes to them. They're both on the ground running. They're running after each other. And James Wan loves his smoke machines. I mean,
I was wondering about that.
The
Like, where
alley-
the hell
About
did
the
the
fog?
smoke come
Yeah.
from?
Oh.
The fog,
Did
yeah.
he have enough?
no, yeah.
It was
so,
solid. It became a solid.
Yeah, so they're running through the alley, and we see the thing donkey kick a window open, and it dives down it. It dives down, and so the detective dives down. Which, first off, no, a detective would do this. They would do, it's in this building. Call back up. We're checking every exit.
Yep.
No, this detective just Superman swanton bombs into the building, and is chasing after it, and it does not stop. This is where we get to see a lot of cool other shots of the quote unquote Seattle underground, which I definitely believe they built that on set.
Which I was like, how is that so close to where that apartment was too? Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
like a
very-
coincidence,
yeah,
man.
It's very
Oh, I
coincidental.
never thought about that.
But it was,
Yeah.
I think with that, it was just like he had a cool idea for location, which definitely did not exist. They built that on stage because we get to see the whole underground of the fog. It's so foggy underground, and the detectives just blindly shooting shots, which
Yeah,
we don't
what?
see him. We don't see him reload or anything, which I'm okay with that. It's okay, but he is just like blowing shots down the hole in any direction he can and misses every single time. So this is when we see that they're in this like really foggy room, and this is where the infamous carriage scene is.
Oh my god.
They're in this room. It
Infamous.
looks like some like street or something, and there's all these carriages, and this carriage comes from just like throws itself at the person, and the detective Kin Cow opens up the carriage door like it was thrown from the inside.
Like it gets pushed.
Like he
towards
gets
him.
pushed from the inside. He like opens it up to see if it's in there. It's like, how would you?
He's not a cop.
How would a person throw a carriage like that from the inside?
It's a movie.
Yeah. So this is when we see that the thing is, the person is on top of the carriage.
Why didn't the monster attack him while they were running through too? Like, there's just them running constantly. Like, he had plenty of like
That's what
time.
I'm saying. The monster obviously didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah, I can
Which I don't
can see
understand.
that, but plot wise, I think it's just to show us. It's things like that. It's just like, oh, show us these cool locations, and it distracts you. He had these cool ideas and shots, so he's like, we'll just make him run through it.
It wasn't scary.
Woo!
Wasn't
That
scary.
scene was not scary.
No.
No.
I think the carriage was supposed to scare you, but I was already in disbelief for the whole location to be scared. So,
yeah.
so they get in a fight there, and that's when the cop goes to the ground and just shoots up in the general direction, and we see this thing like parkour backwards.
I'm like, how did
It's
it
like
even know
running
where to go in the
backwards.
first place?
It's like if you were to try and run backwards, how you like throw your arms. It looks exactly like that,
I
but then
like
it
that,
like
though.
parkours backwards, grabs things, and just like
Escapes,
ninja
yeah.
itself out of there, and the scene's done. So we cut back, and it's the next day, and the two detectives are talking to Cindy, the sister, and Madison, the main character. And this is where they start talking about all the things and how they now believe that it's true because the detective saw it. So
The woman doesn't yet.
the woman doesn't.
no, she still thinks.
But the
Matt-
guy's
she kind
in
of
on
calls
it.
him out on it
Because
of the
obviously,
whole
yeah.
thing of like you're being crazy or just going on because this is when we mentioned like she says like we're only here or talks about how they have a love triangle type thing, kind of points points out about that. It's the first time we kind of see it. But they start talking, and they want to like talk about what happened when she's younger, because we learned too that a photo was found of Madeline as a little girl, and they aged it with software that I guess
Is
exists.
that really what that was?
Yeah, they like computer aged it, and it looked exactly like the same person. Like I've seen stuff like that where it's like what they look like, what they assume it looks like, and it looks nothing alike. That was 2 separate shots, but
I didn't even catch on to that.
yeah.
They couldn't do that any other way.
Yeah. So they decide that they want to try and like get old memories from her head. So they bring in a hypnotherapist.
shrink.
A crappy shrink.
Hypnotherapist, which that is something that James Wan loves. If you guys seen the Insidious, there's a whole character who is she's awesome in the whole film. She comes in and does like hypnotizes the people into like who they were. So I think he just really likes that. But what did you guys think about that whole scene?
Why are they doing this for her?
Like why?
Yeah.
Oh, because they were trying to
And
find out like
Her suppressed memories.
yeah, they're trying to unsuppress her memories, which does not happen. That doesn't happen. It's not
Mhm.
real. But movies make it real.
But she was like really terrible at her job.
Oh yeah, she's like
Yeah, she's like, let it go. I want to see this.
yeah.
And they're
Or
like,
she's
stop
just
it,
like,
stop it, take
What's
her out of
going
it.
on? And, like,
Yeah,
she's
she doesn't
like,
ask any questions. It's basically like they're doing the hypnotherapy. Like she doesn't even talk. I think the thing that they say is like, go deeper behind all your thoughts. And she's like, I'm in a hospital. It's like, yes, that's exactly where we want you. You're in the place that you don't know about. And it's like, wow. So it's like there we get to find out that they were connected. Is this here where we find out that they're connected?
No, that because the sister goes to that Hogwarts look-alike on the edge
Oh,
of a
yeah.
cliff.
What does happen during what do we find out during the
She
whole
just opens up more about Gabriel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, about how they used to be like how it was her imaginary friend from before.
Yeah.
So they're talking, and this is where it went fucking down, where I turned to all of you guys to see your guys' reaction to it, because it cuts from after that scene to the girl in the attic, and she cuts herself free and falls through and lands in her living room.
That actually like surprised me. I was like,
I thought it
pretty
looked
shook, man.
terrible.
Oh, it wasn't.
It wasn't
It
no.
was not a good surprise. That is a plot hole, because then we get hit with that fucking noise, that TikTok song.
It literally
Oh,
just
how is it a
confused
plot
me
hole? What do you
more.
mean?
Why do I understand? It's like one of those things where it's an excuse to like, oh yeah, you didn't understand, or this is bigger than you thought. Like they're trying to make the story bigger, but
It didn't really do anything.
no. They had nothing to show before. That was like, it's like if someone was to drive a car through a wall in a movie, just out of nowhere, and explain that for plot reasons. Like that literally comes from nothing and doesn't do anything. I think that scene could have been done better if it showed a little bit more or talked a little bit more, because that does just come out of nowhere, and it's
I mean, you're talking about something that one of you was talking about. This movie was long, and you could have taken something out. That whole idea would have
Yeah.
been something you could
yeah.
take
But
out.
I think
Yeah.
sadly that was the part that started actually moving the story forward, because it was right
Sure.
there is when we start.
Well, you're like, why was she up in the attic?
Yeah, things really start to go, because this is where afterwards the Madeline gets arrested.
Yeah.
She gets arrested because, of course, she's in her attic.
And she does her little scream thing, and she's like the only one.
Yeah. So
That
there's
was
like
so
after throughout the whole, she gets arrested. And the sister goes on this whole subplot of investigation. They go back to her parents' house.
Yeah, she's doing more than the cops. Honestly.
Yeah, she finds out more than
No
the cops.
joke,
Well, she finds the
man.
exact same, which is funny. She finds like the exact same videos that the mom already has in weird ways. So it's like,
Yeah.
she goes. It cuts to her going to her mom's house, and they have this weird throwaway line of like, "You're lucky we never threw anything away," and it's her literal birth or adoption certificate. Why would you say something like that? That's like a really legal document. It's like, glad I didn't throw away your social security card. It's like, why? That's something very important and needed in a movie, in person's life. So then we find out where she came from, and it's the hospital in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And man, oh man, does it supposed to look creepy, and it is truly something. It goes from her driving up, and we see the hospital in day, and then it jumps to the person, or to the hospital at night.
Yeah.
And this bitch almost drives off the cliff and ends the movie there.
Boop done.
Because that was the smallest parking lot I've ever seen.
Oh,
She
yeah.
pulls up, and it's like 2 feet away from the
Why
cliff
does she
side.
go so close?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's just to make it look creepy and eerie, and it's like a creepy. It's like the
Since
creepy
it's on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, it's the
and-
creepy hospital on the hill that Mr. Ferguson now owns, and the mystery gang is gonna go solve a mystery there.
When she got inside the house and she comes, was it an
It was a hospital.
Yeah.
or yeah, whatever, and you see kind of the layout of the building, and it says like the basement and all that. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of scary, but then she ruins it with this line. What
yeah,
does
it
she
was
say?
like, of course it's in the basement.
Why is she talking to herself?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I got some problems with the whole hospital scene too. Besides the small parking lot, which is definitely why they got closed down. They had too many people. They had too many people go off the edge. They're like, we got to rebuild this shit.
Too many deaths on.
So she goes into the basement and tries to look, and she finds like the storage room, all the information for all the patients are, and this is a big room. And of course, she's gonna find it after a while, because of course, is what they always have to do. When realistically, they'd be there for days.
Well, she knew
But-
kind of what to look for. She had names.
Yeah, she gets scared by a noise. Why'd they even put that in there? It was like, to me, it wouldn't make sense like for it to exist, because
We
really
still
loud.
don't know.
A loud bang happens and it makes her look, and then it cuts the scene there. It just ends. Because then she teleports from the hospital into her mom's house,
Yeah.
and they're popping in the VCR. Which, hey, we get to see how a VCR works, because of course we do. They show us the whole scene of
Wait.
like the inside of the VCR, and the whole tape like going into the VCR deck. The tape being pulled and starting to play, just
Very
for an
80s.
very artsy shot.
I don't know. You kind of made it sound like you'd never seen a VHS go into
No,
player. I was like,
No, I know,
what?
but-
It's to me, when I was a little kid, it's just a magic box. You put it there, it disappears, and it comes up on the screen.
Yes, I'm
now
a
I
little
get
bit older, so I remember it a little differently.
no, we get to see the internal, like the inside
Yeah.
of it, which is really cool. But so then she starts playing tapes, and we get to see the mom, who was something May, Selena May.
Which at first I thought was
Yeah,
Madeline.
yeah, of course, they're so. I know it's supposed to be. I think they typecasted like someone who looks like, because it's her mom.
Yeah.
But it's like, that was really, this is like the second person, and probably like not only the second person who thought for some reason it was the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see both the mom as a kid and then the daughter around the same age, but
Yeah.
only like years later. So it's like, it's really weird.
Well, this is when I really started figuring things out too. I'm like, okay, so that's the mom, because it was from like what 85. It said on that first
93,
tape.
I think. I think it was like 92 or something. No, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
85
Yeah, it
because
was
that was the
85.
mom.
Yeah, it was because it was a little younger.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, so this 15-year-old got pregnant, so that must be, her mom.
Mhm.
But I still don't know that that's her mom.
Yeah, because we're not really told that yet.
No.
We find all that we get from that whole thing is we find out her name,
Mm-hmm.
because then we find out that she was lied to. The adoptive mom was lied to and said that she supposedly died in childbirth,
Yeah.
which didn't happen. And we find out her name, and it jump cuts to the next scene of they're in the hospital.
Yeah, they're videoing her
They're in the
daughter
hospital. Yeah, no. So that it jumps into the present day, and they're in the hospital, and the detective is there at the hospital with the mystery woman, the Jane Doe. It was like, it was good that you went down to the Seattle Underground, because this girl just got Employee of the Month, and her name is something May, and that's how we find out that it's her mom.
now. Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a big stinger, because I
Like,
think they even do like a
oh.
sound, like a ooh, dun dun dun. So we go from there to the shot of Madeline being thrown in jail, the jail cell, with the nastiest women, which I have in my notes. I think I just said nasty women or dirty. I have written down dirty women in cell, because she gets thrown in there, and there's the girl
Landon,
just
would you like to
peeing in the corner.
Oh, you just hear the little dribbles?
Yeah, you just hear a little.
And then
I
she just
didn't
pulls her
even hear
pants
that.
up before finishing.
Yeah, and I
She didn't
mean,
even wipe.
I've never been on the inside of a jail cell. I'm too good for that.
I was just going to
But
say, Landon,
I
would you
could
like to
never
give your
imagine-
thoughts on it? Because when she went in the jail cell, you were kind of expecting something.
There's two women you see behind her. She gonna get raped. I was calling her. She was just gonna get gang raped
Yeah,
by
it
that
was-
whole cell.
Yeah, they were definitely some dirty ass women in there, because I think they're supposed to be like women of the street, like prostitutes, women of the night. You know what that means?
No, they were definitely like bike riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made them out to be like these worst, like Nazis are up in there, like the worst of worst. They're scum of the earth. I think that's what he just doesn't like. I guess he doesn't like people who are prostitutes. I guess because he made them mean and dirty, and because they instantly just start going in at her. It's like, what? Did you get lost on your way to the country club? I'm like, she's not even dressed up that well. I know that
No
you might
joke.
be wearing cheetah print because you're trying to get attention from your hoes, but yeah, she's
Yeah,
just
so
wearing regular clothes.
They're yelling this stuff to her when she's holding her head, and Gabriel's kind of taking over.
Yeah, no, yeah, because she gets beaten up. They beat the shit out of this woman.
Yes.
They just because they're
Just
just
no
mean,
reason.
just mean women. That's all it is. That's why I wrote down dirty women. They just start beating the shit out of her, and yeah, I guess it awakens something inside of her because they throw her and she stands up, and this is when we get to see the transformation.
And that's what he was going for.
But
Like he wanted a scene towards the third act
Of
where
like,
you just see the transformation.
yeah, because we already know. I think we knew by then that it was the
Yeah.
video. Because we get to see
watched the VHS. That shocked me. I actually wasn't expecting
the
that
VHS of like we get to see that it's
where it's like
arms
we're gonna
and
wake
legs.
him up now, and I'm like, where's he at? And then all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, it's on the back of her head and arms are coming from her back.
did you
I thought
guys
it was
hear me
creepy.
when I saw that? I went,
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
had both
oh
of
my-
you guys had your mouths
I was
open for like
I was
10
like this.
minutes. It was just like yeah. So
I didn't realize that thing was connected, and I was like, it all makes sense.
is that what it does? Because it sure doesn't make
Yeah,
sense
it
to me.
did. Yeah, I was just like,
It kind of, I thought like stuff started coming together right when you find out who her mom is. Like that last ending part,
it
everything
was like
just
the
starts
last
clicking.
20 minutes.
Yes.
So continuing on with that fetus thing connected to her brain, you would imagine that would be in because she's a world class surgeon. So there would be reports on this. It'd break out worldwide
Yeah,
because
they definitely hushed it up.
because yeah, exactly, they hushed it up. They woke it up. They suppress it. It goes berserks. It
No,
talks through
yeah,
radio.
well,
no
it's also
way.
because the mom was only 15.
No
and-
way that
and
they
the-
would cut that thing out. It's
Ex-
too valuable as a science than a person. Sorry, if
Exactly.
this was real life, the U.S. government would be there and was like, "Fuck her, she's dead. We're gonna keep this thing alive. We love this."
I don't know why we're still
And-
trying to make logic of this because it's obviously everything's just fit to make the plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with the
But
thing,
still, like,
with the day it went crazy and killed people, and then decided to cut the cancer out, that would break worldwide
totally.
news.
Oh yeah, it would be
Yeah.
all
It's
over.
suppressed,
CNN would
but
be.
No
yeah.
one knows about it.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
but
There
I
would
mean,
also be
like
real
the
cops.
government can just like wipe that shit clean.
Yeah, I guess
though.
it does just say something about myself because yeah, I definitely did see that as
There was a
this is definitely a science thing that needs to be known. I know that they're trying to protect this girl, this innocent girl, but no, I wouldn't have cut out that cancer. How they say, I would have been like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be rich. I'm writing books about this shit." But no, they just completely cut it out, and it sucks. So we go back to like the jail cell, and it's right after we see the first transformation, and it is crazy. And man, oh man, is this movie bloody?
Did you like it?
I loved
yes,
it.
That was
I
really
did
exciting.
enjoy.
During this whole scene, it was like I know it's supposed to be scary, I guess, but I was like fist pumping up my air because
Yeah.
the two women who like beat her up originally was throwing other girls at her, and they're just getting like
Yes.
clotheslined in
Yes.
half and arms
Arms
breaking.
breaking and-
And
yeah.
it's like so funny.
Or when
It's-
she
it's
gets
so
her
cl-
head gets stepped on.
Yeah.
It's so classic that the girl who was picking on her the most is last, and she's just holding on the
Yeah, I
bars.
know,
She's
but
like,
they do it
"Where's
in the way.
the damn-"
I thought what they should have done is such a cool kill is push her head through the bars because she's already like this. Imagine like her whole body being pushed through the bars, and that would have been
Well,
so.
the camera's
That's like some
backing up.
ungodly strength too.
Yeah, and they kind of
Which-
talked about that, and that's ironic. They talked about that right at the same time because that whole scene kind of cuts back and forth between like the video things being talked. It's like 3 different scenes cut in between that, and yeah, they talk about like strength.
I think it's just because there's 2 of them in their brain, so like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Which they show the whole surgery, which no way. Do you see them just like
Which we
Two-
saw at the
2
beginning.
brains? They see, yeah, they jump back to the surgery, but you see like 2 brains. She just pushes it in there with
Oh,
her
yeah, why she
hands.
just push
No
it in?
way that would happen. There's just like, oh, it's coming out. Let me just like that's like some type of field medic in World War II. Just like, oh, let me put your liver back inside you.
Your intestines, man.
It's just so funny. So back to like the whole jail cell. A cop starts to come. She gets out of the jail cell and wreaks fucking havoc on this police department.
Dude, okay, so I think it's that scene where she's killing all the police. I have it written here. part where the guy cop, I don't know his name, is talking to her real side.
Oh, yeah.
She's holding the girl, like Gabriel's holding the girl, and then he looks at her and he's trying to wake her up. I thought this was really cool, and you get into the psychological horror type stuff, and she awakes in the cell again, and she looks right.
Yeah.
And she sees all the cops
Although
she killed.
then-
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
And-
first they show us like he says her name, and it's her in the cell, like up against a wall, because we find out that when she's in these trances, the Gabriel puts her in these trances
in a
to where it looks
cell.
like she's somewhere else, and seeing it when it's actually her. So we see her up against the wall, and we see the women. Then it cuts to, it gets closer, and you don't see anybody, and it turns left, and you see all the dead cops, and that's when she realizes, oh fuck,
No, that was awesome.
that was good.
That was I
liked
enjoyed that scene.
I really liked that. So this is when all the cops start throwing them. It's like 30 plus cops. This one person. It's not faster than the speeding bullet, but like 30 cops start coming in there,
The
and
flexibility is what really
I thought it was really cool.
acrobat.
I guess it was supposed to, I don't know what he was wanting from it, but that was me like fist pumping, and I thought to myself, I want a movie of this. Give me a movie of Gabriel's side. This is more interesting than anything else, the whole killing cops, because he's like snapping arms, snapping necks,
Slicing.
slicing with using the knife, the trophy knife thing, which I guess he takes it with him, but the female detective gets stabbed,
She gets sliced. Like right here, but it's not enough
Is
to
she in
actually
other
kill
movies?
I don't know. I didn't really look at her filmography. She probably is.
She reminded me of somebody. But
Yeah. She I think out of the whole movie, I think she might have been the best character. Best acting character wise.
her. Yeah, she made the most sense.
Yeah. So it's like here we get to see where she gets sliced and Kinkow comes in and Kinkoa comes in and tries to like help her, and the guy picks up a chair and spins like a shot put 3 times
Yes.
and throws it at both of them.
And
then
someone
And then-
mentioned, like, why didn't he just throw the knife and kill them?
Yeah, I think that's what Landon said.
and
is-
then he leaves.
And then leaves.
Why did he throw the chair?
I think just to, I don't know.
He kills everyone, but doesn't kill them.
It's
ever.
called plot. You
Yeah.
have the plot armor of 87. So it's like this. We then go to the side, and they're both on the floor, and the girl, the James Wan's wife, her character comes in and is like, "Oh no, first detective who we don't remember. Oh no, Kinkow." And it's like that's the last time we see that whole like girl, because then it goes into like he's okay, I guess, because he
How,
does
though, like-
he does a hero stance of you stay here with her, I'm gonna go get revenge or whatever.
This dude's arm's broken. Like,
Yeah,
there ain't no
this dude
way.
is broken, but no, plot armor is plot armor. So then it cuts to the hospital
Mhm.
where the sister Cindy goes to the hospital to go see her sister. She knows now all the things or goes to see the woman.
mom.
The woman gets to, because she knows that's probably where she's gonna go.
Yeah.
So then we see this like cop at the door, who is this older guy, and he is poor guy. I made a comment, I was like, this is probably this dude's last day, and he had to sit here at this door, and he's like, you just do this and you're gone. He retires the next day.
What happens to him again?
For the first time, they use his like powers to control like energy and stuff, and his heart starts to hurt.
'Cause he has a
starts
pacemaker
He has
in
a
there.
pacemaker, and we're like, oh, is he having a heart attack? No, the fucking pacemaker explodes out of his chest,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they'll do that.
Mm.
My grandma has a pacemaker. I don't think it'll do that, but it's a movie. And this is when this is the whole end scene of
yeah.
the sister comes into the room where that woman is, because the or whatever his name is, the monster thing. Now we see both faces, and it's so cringy. You can see like the person who's acting has a mask on of the face. So she comes into the room and starts trying to kill her, because she kills her because she's trying to kill. She wants her dead so that she will have no like sister. She's after her because
Gabriel was jealous.
of her like being her fake sister.
Her sister,
Yeah.
because, he got pushed into her brain. And,
Yeah.
my question too was, why did the mom just suddenly wake up from her coma?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that one instance?
We had
I
a
was
whole
like, when did
scene
she
where
wake up?
we had a
Like,
whole scene. It's like, can we ask her questions? Like, no, she's in a
she's
coma.
like, I'm
We don't
sorry.
know how long she'll be out. But yeah, they're fighting, and then it like all stops because the mom's like, I'm sorry, I should have been your mom. I still love you. Which is like, why would you think that? I know that they do that. Yeah. So then we get
Sorry.
Gabriel or what
Nobody
walks
wants
up.
that as a kid.
Yeah, nobody would want that as a kid.
No, just
But
cut him off.
Nobody would want
nah, yeah.
She would not have taken it back. She would have cut him up again.
Yeah. It's like, I'd still love you 2 days in. She's like, fuck this thing. Get it out. Get
It's too crazy.
What are you doing in my house? You please get out. So it's like, we get the sister, or no, so the cop comes in, the kin cow comes in, and he does absolutely nothing. He like shoots her twice, which she's like,
Finally.
yeah, it's like,
Finally.
Madison, Madison, I'm here to save you. Bop, 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 bop. Just shoots her. And it's like we see the hole through her. It's like we're trying to help you. So kill
At
it.
this point, he's not trying to save anybody.
No,
He's just like, I'm gonna
Which
kill
is funny.
somebody today.
Yeah, I just watched all my best friends die. I want to kill some. I'm getting some type of revenge. So
I
then
don't even know what for.
not-
yeah,
a cop,
the knife
again.
the monster throws the knife at Kin Cow and throws him into the hallway. And I think
I don't even know if he
I think-
dies or
No,
not.
no.
though.
I think you were like, yes, he's dead.
No, that was me. I was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, he
finally.
did. I
Yeah, it's
wasn't
like finally
sure.
someone died.
And then
no,
you were like, no, it's in the shoulder.
it's
And
in the
then did we
shoulder,
see him
and we
again?
never see him. We never see him
You
again.
never-
Come
Yep.
on.
Yeah, it's just in the shoulder, and he's completely gone. For all we know, he's dead.
When does Gabriel suffocate his mom? Because that was a cool shot.
It
of
was
his
right
whole
after.
body turned
No,
around.
so
This
this is what
gave me-
happens. He throws it. The gun falls to the ground. Cindy, the sister, runs over to the gun and picks it up, and then is pointing it at her. And Gabriel is like, "Shoot me! I dare you! Hit me! Come on!
If you're gonna shoot me, shoot me.
Come on! Hit me! Hit me, Batman! Hit me!" And then he kicks the bed and throws her against the wall. And he picks up the gun and he walks over to her. And Cindy's like, "No, Madeline, try and find it in you." And this is where she delivers the lines. "He's the reason why all your babies are on. He's been feeding on your fetuses to build itself."
And like,
No, that
how the
was it.
hell did she
Yeah.
know that?
I
Yeah.
know.
How do we
She
know
just
that?
pulled
Who
that out of her
knows?
ass.
She probably made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
But it hit him.
Yeah.
He was like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, "How do you know my secrets that I was feeding on her fetuses?" And why would they say
Well, he didn't
Feeding
want
off
her to have
fetuses
any
to
other
build
blood
himself.
relation with
Yeah.
anything else.
which I know that's why.
I thought he was asleep. Is he hibernating?
I don't know, apparently. He's subconsciously killing her babies and eating them for some reason, making himself stronger. So it's there that she kind of wakes up in his mind, and we see her like ball her fist like a power move.
yeah,
And then it cuts to the guy, to the real
Gabriel?
life Gabriel,
Just
and fucking blows her brains out.
and we're like, well, what
Dude,
what
that
just
was
happened?
huge.
to,
Like,
you know, the
Nicole was
power
like-
she
like,
had
what
in
the
her hand.
fuck?
Like, yeah, I think I did. I was like, what?
And then
And then gets up and walks over to the mom and starts to suffocate her. Because while she's there, she's like, "Oh no, I still love you," and I was like, "I forgive you," or something like that, some cringy line. And then he kills her.
so what are we seeing?
So
because
then-
this actually doesn't happen.
We're seeing
No,
what she
we
wants
see
him to
we see the flat, like the machine flatline, and then the room starts to melt,
Oh yeah.
and it's
yeah, yeah.
what
rotating
she-
around
yeah.
him, and she comes to him from the darkness, is like, "Gabriel, you do know we share the same mind. You have
Fight
no
Club 2.
power over me. You have no power over me anymore." And we see him like kind of freak out, and these bars, like a jail cell, comes down, and she shuts the door.
And he's hanging on the bars. and,
hanging
He's
on to
like,
the
I'll
bars.
be back, man. I'll
Oh,
be
that was
back.
scary.
And she's
I'll
like,
be back.
and she's like, I know, but this next
This time I'll be ready.
So then, come on, why'd you
Yeah,
bring up
hey,
that line?
sequel.
Makes me think of a superhero movie.
Yeah, that was so superhero like.
Yes.
I think that's his coming off
getting
of
locked up is
Aquaman.
cool.
Do you know what this
Oh,
is? This whole
crap.
movie is a horror superhero, but it's not
Yes.
Brightburn. Brightburn does it so
Oh,
good.
That movie.
That movie's
was
good.
I
We
wish
need
her
to
friend
talk-
would have
different.
died.
Yeah. So
That'd have been so good.
after that, we see that he didn't kill her. The gun it jump cuts
It
to
was still
him
there.
still aiming at her.
And he's like shaking.
Yeah, he's shaking,
Yo,
and the
I-
gun drops,
she should
and
have been
she
like-
steps
yeah.
back, and we hear the bones break, and then it cuts to the back of his head, like her head, and we see him, like his skull, all the
fusing
hair
back
and all the
together.
flesh grow back over, and he like goes back inside of her, and then I guess they're like, "Oh, I still love you. I always love you."
He
And
had
then
pretty green
the
eyes.
woman, the mom is just sitting there smiling, like, "I'm so proud of you." And then,
I didn't put you up for adoption and leave your ass.
yeah, it's like, I'm such a proud mom. So then they're hugging and embracing, and the camera turns back. It starts to pan away, and we're at a light. And the light starts to hear a little shh. It lights. And then it's boom, credits.
Inception. Does it fall
Yes.
over?
Oh, yes.
Also, don't forget the line where the girl's like, "It's like I'm Gabriel too. I've always had his power. I can lift up this bed."
Oh, yeah.
And
Come
like,
on. What was that about?
Also, this popped into my head like a little bit ago, thinking back to the jail cell. Sorry to back up a lot.
No, you're fine. There's no way we can talk about this in chronological order, because what is chronological order?
Yeah, no kidding. But Gabriel kills the cop to get his keys, right?
Uh-huh.
If he has superhuman strength, why doesn't he just bend
like,
back those bars and
it
walk
could have been like
out?
Split, the movie Split, when he pulls the bars. That's such a good movie. I want to talk about that. on the
That's
pod.
what I've been
Unbreakable.
thinking. This
Unbreakable
Let's
is
do
a
the
good-
trilogy, man.
Dude, I'll do Glass.
Unbreakable.
I'll
Yeah,
do Glass.
Let's
No,
talk,
let's just do
talk
it
crap
all.
on
Do
Glass.
them all.
I love
do 'em all.
Unbreakable, dude. M. Night.
You and I, come on, right now.
He's actually a decent
and I.
writer.
M. Night Shyamalan, man. Let's watch
He's
Old.
decent.
Come on, Old, right now.
Let's just not watch The Happening.
Or, hey, you mean the Mark Wahlberg movie where he's like, hey, hold up. Never mind.
Oh, I wish you guys got that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the movie. So here on Survive the Haunt, it kind of talking about titular name. Gabe, what would you do to survive? If you were in that situation, what have you done different to make you survive? And do you think you would have?
In what? In what?
Like, if you were in that world, what would you do to, like, make sure that you don't die? If you were a cop in that police station, what have you done?
Maybe do what I'm supposed to do. Maybe actually be a cop, because
Dude.
every cop I saw in that movie didn't do the right
she
thing.
calls for the National Guard too.
Yeah.
Get the fucking National Guard up in here. Like, why didn't you call for them a long time ago?
Yeah.
You have this demonic.
You already have a
looking-
helicopter. Why not?
You have this tumor that's alive, that's with has superpowers, and shit, and like all this crap's happening, and now your whole team's dead. The whole freaking police department's dead.
Honestly, what I think would have happened anyways, she would get arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
This is not a happy
no,
ending.
Not,
Oh,
no,
no,
I'm not
no,
even
no.
talking about the end.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even when she's saying, or some of them think that somebody broke in the house and killed her husband.
Oh, yeah. No, she would have been.
She's so.
I think they
like-
were talking about that, though. She was
But
kind of
they
suspect
saw how
one.
bruised up and stuff she was.
Yeah,
so
because they
just
even make a word. It was
assumed-
like, dead babies, abusive husband. That's suspicious. That's
Yeah,
like what
and
the
then what?
assistants,
All
and
they
they never
do,
say it again.
all they do is call it suspicious.
Yeah, because that's how they end
I
up
would have
getting.
locked her up.
Yeah.
What's the main character's name again? What's her name?
Madison?
Madison. All right. So she's a nurse, right? And she just keeps waking up with her head bleeding.
She does not.
Why would she not go to the freaking doctor?
Yeah, she does not know anything
What?
about medical anything.
At the very
I was like,
beginning,
is her
she wakes
stitches
up.
coming out? What
Yeah,
the
she
hell?
wakes up and just blood on her pillow. Why
Yeah.
would she not
Did
be
you
like,
realize it's a motif
I
for
should
him
probably go
popping
back
out?
to the freaking
It's
doctor?
It's
so
such a
bad.
long shot of her just touching her head.
Yeah,
We're
and
like,
we
oh,
see
Yeah.
blood
her
on the back of
fingers-
her hand.
Her finger's
She-
about to be
and she's
bloody.
a nurse, right? And she's just like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Nicole, what have you done to survive the haunt?
I would have pieced out. I'm not even playing. Like, I don't do that kind of stuff. Like, I don't mind listening to it but if I would have seen that thing, I'd have been like, peace, I'm out. You all can die. No. I would have waited for backup. I mean, that's the best way I would have that one cop was really brave, but like, not me, man. I'd be out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What about you, Creed?
So we're trying to survive as a cop in the movie?
Yeah. We'll be cops in this one.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. She got them all, so.
Do you think
Run.
you think you
Yeah.
would have died?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What if you
I
team up with Gabriel?
yeah, I would have done.
Hey,
It's a good thing.
I'll just kill
That's
myself.
that's a good thing.
What
Yeah,
are you
I'd be like, hey, I'd be like Iron Man 3 when Tony Stark's when he's infiltrating the place. Like, these people are weird. I don't like these guys, and he waves to them goodbye. I would have been like that. I would be like, Gabriel, the door's open. My car's right there. If you need a ride, I'm heading out. I'll see you later. You have a nice night. That's what I would have done. That or just like walked out. I would've-
You need some help?
yeah, I'm like, you just wait here, man. I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm going on break.
What about you, Austin?
No, I would have just pieced out.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I would have died. I'd be
But
dead.
seeing
hell yeah.
that thing, seeing Gabriel
Yeah.
on the back of her head, I would have been like, I would have stood there for.
I would have shit my pants.
I
I
would have been like,
did.
what
Oh,
the?
well, not literally,
fuck?
but like when I saw that, I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's terrible. That was worse than what I was expecting. Paranormal, I'm used to that shit. But when it comes to some kind of tumor thing that's alive that would sit on the back of her body for 9 years plus,
So is it still a 4 out of 10?
Yeah. After this talk has this conversation like made the movie better, because I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I would never watch this movie again. I would definitely not watch this movie again, but it will live as a happy place in my mind because of this conversation.
There's a lot of bad horror movies.
This is one of them.
I think it's a 5. 5 out of 10. Like that's my opinion.
like I said at the beginning,
You said what originally a 2 to 2?
I said 4.
Yeah. Wow.
I said a
It's a
4 or
5.
5.
Yeah.
If
I
the
said-
shots had been like, if the story
The
had been
shots were
changed
beautiful.
around, and like certain scenes were put at the beginning or at the end, I feel like it would have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
But not with how we figured things out and the weird comedic effect that they tried to put in there, and then the weird threesome romance they shoved up in there, and yeah, no.
Okay, so you guys ready for some box office reviews?
Oh God.
Okay, so does anybody want to take a guess what the original budget was according to Wikipedia?
300 million.
No. You don't know money.
10.
10 million?
Let's do 50 million.
50 million? Okay, it was 40 million USD. Can anybody guess what the box office return is?
10.
Not even, man. I'm gonna say 5, maybe 7.
What about you, Gabe?
I have no idea. Like, nobody's going to the theaters, man.
Yeah, so I have some things that the box office return is 24.6 million.
Okay, well,
So it's made only half of its money back.
But it's also on HBO.
Yeah. Okay. So I have things like that. So I have this thing on about release the audience viewership, according to Samba TV, which is I've seen that before. It's like HBO, I guess. I don't know. According to that, it says that 753,000 U.S. households in its first weekend, which I do not believe that one bit. I think since it was on HBO and it was offered as that, I bet you a lot of people watched it. But since it's on a streaming service, it can't gauge how much money was ever made.
yeah.
So
Well, overall, I still think my answer stays the same
as well,
with the rating. Yeah, it might have went up just a little bit because we got in depth on certain topics and like maybe what the director was thinking, but overall, it still wasn't very good.
We were able to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah. So the cinema score for it got a C, which is pretty good, as in like C or best as an A+. The Metacritic gave it a 50 out of 100.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I do not know what I think it got a positive. The audience members gave it a 38%.
That's surprising because a lot of people go to see stuff like that and actually kind of dig it.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about real quick as we kind of wrap this thing up is the whole like money factory that a horror movie is that no matter, it can be a really shitty movie. Like sadly, guys, this might have a sequel. I'm not going to lie, it might have a sequel because no matter what, I think the money, it's just going to get more and more people watching it and it's going to make more money. It's going to make its money back because
After
it's a horror
thinking
movie.
about it, like I can see it now being another movie, but it's gonna
It's not going to be a
more
good
like
movie.
a superhero like villain movie,
I'd be
where
okay with
she's like
that.
trying to like she's starting to figure out how to use the powers that he had and
Fuck
like
it, make it a 3-parter and the whole second movie is only from his perspective. And then the third movie is her taking back control and completely vanishes it, maybe by killing herself, who knows. But just like the whole thing on what it means like horror movie wise is a lot of people they make a lot of money doing horror movies. It's why people watch them. It's why people still make them. Blumhouse is a great example of that, the production company.
yeah.
They're behind like Ready or Not, the original with Oren Peli. They did all the Paranormal Activity movies. He's done all of the like Insidious. They're very famous for all these like horror movies that just make money, and they're not in any way good. They just happen to make money. So like, we talked a little bit about him of James Wan. Do you guys think he's a good director? You guys can be honest. He's not going to listen to this, and if he does, hey, shout us out. Maybe you can have you come on.
I don't know. I just watched the new newest Conjuring. I'm not gonna give any spoilers.
Oh, the devil made me do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't think it was that funny. Scary.
But my whole thoughts on James Wan is he is not a bad director. He's made
No.
good movies. I think he makes good movies with people. Like I think was it Oren Peli? No, Oren Peli was only. James Wan's made a lot of good movies. Just Saw is a game changer when it comes to horror. That's why I actually love horror movies. I know that you're saying no, but the whole Saw created this whole entire zeitgeist and subgenre of horror called torture porn. Everyone loves it. It was a big movie and it changed the face. I think James Wan's very, very, very inspirational as a director, especially to me who wants to be a horror director. You have him do stuff like that, but then even the Insidious movies and the Conjuring movies, they made 3 Insidious movies, and they're up to like 7 total Conjuring films. All the Annabelle, Nun, Curse of La Llorona.
And those were pretty good.
Those
I'm
are
not gonna
good.
say-
Those are good. Not saying that he directed them all because he didn't, but
Mhm.
he's able to create these things. He's able to create these zeitgeists and future work. And he's really good at it.
When I think about Saw, I think I really like that movie, and the reason I liked it is because, and the reason the twist hit at the end, I actually cared about the characters. There was a lot of development there. I think he has a big vision, especially with this movie. But I think that a lot of the things that he wanted to hit just didn't hit.
Yeah,
I
he had a good idea, but it didn't get made correctly.
A lot
Mhm.
of tricks,
Yes.
a lot of cool things.
Yeah,
just
I think the
story.
best thing to say at the very end is I hope he makes something else because we can watch it.
Yeah.
Something better.
Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Survive the Haunt. And thank you to all my guests, Nicole, Gabe, and Credence, and everybody else here in this room who are quiet and great people. See you guys next week. Thank you.